Phil Twyford.
Last few weeks have been very, very revealing, Mr Speaker. What the Northland by-election has exposed is a classic arrogant third-term national government, mired in scandal, desperate to hold on to power and frantically trying to cover up their own shortcomings. And in this particular instance of the Northland by-election, it's their chronic neglect of regional New Zealand over many, many years. It's basically been like watching a slow-motion train wreck. And I don't know, Mr Speaker, what will be the most enduring image of the campaign. On one hand, it might be Simon Bridges, Stephen Joyce, the hapless Mark Osborne, and a large black pig trying to erect a National Party hoarding, a photograph that appeared on the front page of the Northland Advocate. Or, on the other hand, it might be the poor candidate, Mark Osborne, who'd been advised not to go into the studio for the Q&A interview with his eyes darting nervously side to side, and Stephen Joyce clearly there behind the camera holding up the cue cards, telling him what to say. So what did National do, sir? They panicked. They panicked after one media opinion poll that showed them likely to lose this by-election. Stephen Joyce panicked, and he threw $70 million of taxpayers' money at 10 Northland bridges that the Northland Regional Council hadn't even been asking for in its regional transport plan. In fact, only 3 of the 10 were even mentioned, and of those 3, only 2 of them got the lowest possible priority rating. They were not a priority for Northland, but this national government, they've never seen a political problem that couldn't be solved by throwing truckloads of taxpayer money at it. And this Minister, Simon Bridges, his reputation is one of the great casualties of this by-election campaign, because he will never, ever have any financial credibility or credibility as a transport minister in this parliament again. Simon Bridges, his reputation has been permanently tarnished. Sir, the hapless candidate, Mark Osborne, he couldn't even name the bridges, even though he can see one of them from his front window. And he claims it was his idea to think of the bridges in the first place, and yet, sir, he couldn't even name them. Matthew Hooton, not exactly a firebrand socialist, sir, has said that the pork barrel politics practiced by this national government are the worst since the government of the National Party of Sir Robert Muldoon in the 1970s and 80s. This is the by-election of pork, and that will hang around the necks of Stephen Joyce, Simon Bridges, and all the other maestros who have been involved in running this campaign. So I have a question. Is the pork barrel politics, is it a sign of how desperate and how panicky this national government is about losing the by-election this Saturday? Or is it an indicator, sir, of how casual they are with taxpayers' money and how willing to spend it willy-nilly in pursuit of power and buying votes? Or is it both of those things? And sir, I suggest it's the third. Not only have we seen bribery, we've seen bullying. And poor Shane Retty, sent out by Stephen Joyce and Simon Bridges to tell the people of Pipawai in Northland, who are simply campaigning to get their dusty roads sealed, a reasonable enough request. Shane Retty was sent there to bully and intimidate the people of Pipawai, to tell them, and it's all over the media, that they should keep quiet, keep their heads down for the duration of this by-election, otherwise they'd get nothing. That's the National Party, sir, in this by-election. Bullying, intimidation, pork barrel politics, and he told those people of Pipawai that he'd taken their roads plan to Cabinet. And he was forced to retract that, sir, and the minister exposed that for the lie that it is. Mr Speaker, it's not the pork, it's not the years of neglect, it's not the dusty roads, the blackmail, the bullying and the lying. The thing that really sticks in the craw of the people of Northland is that they were kept in the dark by this National Party about Mike Sabin and the police investigation.
Order! Order! The member knows that that's not a subject that will be raised in this House.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
I want to point out, sir, in relation to that 3 News public...
Order! I don't care what 3 News has done. I've made it quite clear. And standing orders are quite clear. That matter will not be discussed in this House. That concludes the member's speech anyway.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable
Mr.
Simon
Speaker,
Bridges.
after years of neglect by the left, when